Good afternoon and welcome to the City Club of Cleveland. My name is Pete Van Leer. I'm a member of the City Club Special Programs Committee and a researcher at Policy Matters, Ohio. I'm very pleased to introduce today's panel discussion on green jobs. The creation of jobs in a new energy economy is seen by many as an approach to economic development that offers potential solutions to the problems of both high unemployment and high energy costs. Over the course of the next hour, we'll be hearing some of what's happening on the green jobs front in our region. Moderating today's panel is Amy Hanauer, the founding executive director of Policy Matters Ohio, a nonprofit, nonpartisan policy research institute dedicated to examining issues that matter to working families. Since its founding in 2000, Policy Matters has helped change the economic debate in Ohio through its reports on issues including work, wages, credit and debt, budget and tax policy, education, and training. In 2008, The Nation magazine named Policy Matters the most valuable state or regional organization in the country. Amy served on the board of directors and the executive committee of the national think tank Demos and on the advisory committee to the National Economic Analysis and Research Network. Amy?
He has to say nice things about me because I'm his boss. So Policy Matters was created to talk about how we could create a more prosperous, fair, and sustainable economy in Northeast Ohio. And I think that green jobs are really at the root of how we do that. And one of the most promising solutions for this part of the country. You know, when I was in my mid-20s, I lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which has some similarities to Cleveland. And my boss at the time used to talk about retrofitting all of Milwaukee's central city housing stock, employing skilled tradesmen and women represented by unions to do that work, creating pipelines for low-income people of color who had traditionally been excluded from higher wage jobs, and emerging with lower-income people with more sustainable housing that was going to cost them less to heat and that would use less energy. That boss went on to help found the Apollo Alliance, which used this and other ideas as seeds for a kind of broad investment agenda that would reinvest in a really dramatic way in our communities, in our transit systems, in our energy production systems, in our public infrastructure. And the Apollo Alliance now proposes that we invest $500 billion over 10 years to create 5 million green-collar jobs in a variety of fields throughout our economy. We're the local partner to the Apollo Alliance, and while it has taken a little time for these ideas to gain traction, it now seems to me that a lot of our political leadership really understands the imperative of both reducing carbon emissions and reducing dependence on foreign oil and providing massive reinvestments that are going to employ blue-collar people on a large scale, jumpstart our economy, and make the country more efficient and less polluting. And so I feel like now between the stimulus plan, the Obama budget, and the possibility of carbon cap legislation, some resources are actually going to come to this work, and the costs of doing things the old way are starting to grow. But as this vision kind of staggers toward reality, I think some questions and challenges become more apparent, and those are, I think, some of the things that this panel can address today. And just broadly, some of the questions that I think are still on the table is, will this green economy leave out some communities and some workers? What if you work in a polluting industry? How concerned should you be? How are we going to compensate those people who may be left behind in some way? Will the jobs that emerge be good jobs? What policy levers can we pull to ensure that they are good jobs? Because I think we have a lot of control over that. What role can organized labor play in improving job quality and skill levels in the new positions? Will the jobs that emerge be accessible to those who've been left behind by past waves of reindustrialization and to those who've been displaced by deindustrialization? We talk about a blue and green economy, but what about black and brown workers who've been excluded from our economy in many ways? So we've assembled, I think, a really great panel today that can shed light on these questions. And what I thought we would do is have some brief introductions from each of the panelists and then have this really as much more of a question and answer. So I wanted to start with Dave Rinebolt. And Dave Rinebolt has been the executive director of Ohio Partners for Affordable Energy for about 13 years. And Ohio Partners is a collection of 60 nonprofits that help low-income families pay their energy bills and get their homes weatherized. He really gets policy. He's worked for, dozens of governors. He's worked on Capitol Hill, and he's worked in advocacy. And he's really probably doing as much as almost anyone in Ohio to make this vision a reality. So Dave, can you just give us a brief introduction to your work?
Thank you very much, Amy, and it is a pleasure and an honor to be here before the City Club today. I have the privilege of representing 60 nonprofits, the bulk of which are community action agencies that were part of President Johnson's war on poverty. And our agencies, in fact, provide a variety of social services designed to help people lift people out of poverty, or at least endure it with a little more style. I think this is a network that really created the concept of weatherization in the mid-1970s with funding from the Community Services Block Grant. Ultimately, the federal government authorized and funded the Weatherization Assistance Program, known in Ohio as the Home Weatherization Assistance Program. And our 54 member agencies that participate in that program, including Cleveland Housing Network and various CDCs in Cleveland, spend about $30 million, or last year spent about $30 million in federal funding and about $35 million in ratepayer and utility shareholder funding in order to weatherize or provide electric baseload services to 12,000 households statewide. 8,000 of those units received comprehensive weatherization, which will save our clients on average 22% of their overall energy use and 30% of what they use to heat. So the impact on their lives, and we are fundamentally social service agencies, is profound and has produced a high level of loyalty among our staffs and a commitment to quality, which I think is unmatched nationally.
Great. Excellent. Okay, Carl Scheutzow, in addition to being a Navy veteran, is an electrician certified by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and an instructor in solar installation, both for IBEW and for Cuyahoga Community College. He's also the CEO of a company that installs solar panels in homes and commercial facilities. I think that Carl's really an important part of this movement to make sure that green jobs are good jobs and to make sure that greater Clevelanders are trained to fill those jobs. So Carl, do you want to give us a brief introduction to what you do?
Again, I'd like to thank the Cleveland City Club for having us here today, for Policy Matters, for taking a good look at the green job issue. And I prepared a very eloquent speech for today. And if we were at home in my kitchen, it would be laying on the kitchen table, and I could just read it off to you, and you'd be very impressed with what I wrote down. But I don't have that with me today, so I'm just going to speak from the heart. I'm an electrician. I've been an electrician for a long time. It's the only thing that I do. I love this industry. I've been a member of Local 38 for 26 years now. Recently I started a company called Mariner Energy Systems, which goes back to my Navy days, which I absolutely loved. And I'm turning my hobby, trying to turn my hobby into a business. And with a lot of your help, we're going to put a lot of people back to work. This state and the city have been hard hit by economic loss.